Hello guys, this is Crypto Chess and this is lesson number 1. Today we're going to be talking about the basic rules of chess. What is the objective in chess? Well, it's pretty simple. You want to mate your opponent. You want to mate him. So in chess there is 3 outcomes to the game. You can either win, you can either lose, or you can draw the game. You win by mating your opponent, but you can also win if your opponent runs out of time. All the games are with a set time of control. Either you're playing in a tournament or you're playing online. In tournament chess, most of the time you will have like 1.5 hour for the whole game, your opponent also. So the game will last like 3 hours around if it's the standard format. There are also another type of chess which is called rapid chess. In rapid chess you have 5 minutes, 3 minutes or 1 minute. Those are the most common 3 type of rapid chess. And you need to be a little bit more advanced to start playing rapid chess. Hopefully in this channel I will teach you chess, and eventually you will get to a point that you can play good rapid chess also. Okay, let's go to the starting position. This is the starting position in chess. The white pieces always have the first move. Always have the first move. We have, let's talk about the pieces in chess. You have 8 pawns. White has 8 pawns. You have them over here. And black has 8 pawns. You have the minor pieces and the major pieces. The minor pieces are composed by the bishops. Please know that you have one dark square bishop and one light square bishop, and so does your opponent. Have a light square bishop and a black square bishop. That means that those bishops will always move on those squares, but we'll go more in depth about that when we talk about the pieces independently. The knights are also part of the minor pieces. So these are the minor pieces in chess, the bishops and the knights. The major pieces in chess are composed by the rooks and the queen. Rooks and the queen are the major pieces in chess. And you have the king. The king is not classified as major or minor. It's the most important piece, because if you lose it, you can or you get mated, you lose the game. You cannot lose it, but you will get mated. So you want, if you're white, you want to mate that guy over there, and black will also want to mate him. So let's go now and let's see the chessboard. Let's study a little bit the chessboard, and we'll go again with all the pieces independently. Let's clear the board really quick. Okay, if you note, this is the chessboard. If you have doubt in the orientation, what I always did is that your right square, if you're playing chess, will always be a white square, if you know what I mean. That's why you know if the board is set up correctly. You just see if your last square to the right is white, and you know it's correctly. If it's a dark square, well, you just turn it a little bit and just have the square be the white one. Okay, so we have 8 columns or 8 files. These are columns, and we have 8 ranks. you can see here that the columns have a letter. This is the A file, the B file, the C file, the D file, the E file, the F file, the G file, and the H file. It's really important to keep that in mind, right? The columns A, B, D, C, E, F, G, H. And we also have 8 rows. This is the first row, second row, third row, fourth row, fifth row, sixth row, sixth row, and eighth row. 64 squares in total. So what that means is that each square has a specific notation. Each square. So this square right here is on the column A, right? And on the third rank. So this square right here is A3. So if I tell you that white moved his rook to A3, he made this move over here, A3, because there's only one square that can be A3. We'll see that when we talk about the pieces. So these are the columns and these are the rows. We also have diagonals. Diagonals are where the bishop move. This is the what is called a long diagonal. Only bishop will move in this diagonal like this. We have another long diagonal over here. This is light square diagonal, so the light square bishop is the one that's gonna be transiting that. We're gonna see that more in detail. So let's go with the piece movement and the value of pieces. So let's start with the pawns. Hold a sec, sorry. So this is the starting position of the pawns. That one over here. Like I told you, we have 8 pawns. White has 8 pawns, black has 8 pawns. The pawns, the value of the pawns is 1, but it's a relative value. I want you to keep in mind that that word, relative. They are worth 1, but relatively 1, right? For now, if they ask you how much is a pawn worth, it's 1, right? The pawn moves forward like that. It can move from the starting position. It can move twice, or it can move once, and they capture diagonally like that. This pawn will capture like this. So you can see here, these 2 pawns, they cannot eat each other, right? Because they only eat this way. So the white pawn cannot capture the black one, but they are kind of like blockading, right? Because the white pawn cannot advance anymore and the black pawn cannot advance anymore. This is what is called, we'll start with your first concept in chess, a strong point. Strong point. And see, these pawns cannot move forward, but they control the squares. Remember that this is another concept, that the pieces in the center have more power than the pieces when the pieces are in the side of the board, and we'll talk about that a little bit more later. So we talk a little bit about pawns, right? So they move forward and they capture to the sides, right? They can move once or they can move twice. and they are worth 1. Those are the pawns. Oh, another thing, if a pawn gets to the last rank, you will choose. You can choose whatever piece you want. Let's say that these pawns are going this way. You go to the other side. You can choose a queen. And same, the black pawn can do the same. Black pawn goes here. He can choose a queen. That's called queening. But you can choose a rook also, you can choose a knight, a bishop, but since the queen is the most valuable piece, which we'll talk about it when we get to discuss the queen. Well, most people when we queen, we choose a queen. But there are certain positions when we are getting more advanced that you will see that queening is not. Maybe getting a rook will result better. Maybe getting a knight will result better. That's a little bit more advanced. So let's go now with the minor pieces, the knights. The knights are worth 3 pawns. Are what the knights. They are part of the minor pieces, and the knights move in a strange way. They move like this. See, it's like an L. Some people like to call it. They move like in an L shape. I never visualize it like an L shape. See the L here, the L here. So in the starting position, the knights have those 3 moves. See? 3 moves in the starting position, and the knights can go over pawns. So in this position, which is the starting position, right? White can play this move. See? He goes through this pawn. Black can also go with his nice jump over pawns. So let's clear the board. But check this out. See the difference between these 2 knights. See the difference. The knight in this starting position has 3 moves. But look at this knight in the center. All the possibilities that it has. See the difference. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 possibilities. When a knight on the side of the board has only 3 possibilities. This is why pieces in the center are more powerful, and that's why the center is a side of contest in chess. We want to control the center because our pieces are more powerful in the center. I will do this with all the pieces so you can see the difference. You can see why we fight from the center and why if moving towards the center of the board it's part of the strategy in chess. Always try to move and control the center, because look at the difference, how powerful this knight is compared to this knight that just have 3 moves. And even worse, if you place this knight in this square, only have 2 moves. while this one over here, look how many. 8. So always try to play for the center, to control the center, to have some influence in the center. That's a really big concept in chess. Okay, let's move to the bishops. So the knights are part of the minor pieces, like I told you, right? And see the power of a piece in the center compared to a piece on the side of the board. Always to the center. So let's go to the other pieces. The bishops. Like I told you, you have a white square bishop and a dark square bishop, same as black. They will always move in diagonals. So by that I mean that this bishop right here in the starting position, those are his options. If this is the position, the bishop cannot go, cannot jump over pawn. The only piece that can jump over pawn is a knight. But what I want to show you is the diagonals. They move in diagonals. They are worth 3 also, like knights, 3 pawns. Relatively, never forget that. Just they are worth 3 pawns, but their value is relative. We'll go through that in detail in a more advanced class. And let's do the same thing. Let's put the bishops on the center to compare them. Let's get the dark square bishop over here, and let's get the light square bishop over here. Look at the difference of a piece in the center. See? See how strong is the white bishop, the light square white bishop compared to the other bishop. He controls this long diagonal, this diagonal. Now if you count the moves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 possibilities, and the other bishop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 possibilities. So this is why a piece in the center is so strong. They are worth also 3. Relatively. Okay, let's go now to the major pieces. The rooks are one of the major pieces. And they move along ranks or files and ranks. So you can move all the way over here. Also, see, and they can go this way also. Okay, so let's see the queen now. I have the queen over here. The queen is the strongest piece in chess. It's worth around 9 pawns. It works so much because its movement, it's the combined movement of the rooks and the bishops. She moves in the diagonals, but she can also move in the files and in the ranks. So the queen is really strong piece. Is the piece usually she goes all the way. I just don't wanna all the way to the back. Just don't want to. When you attack in chess, you usually want to attack with the queen because it's so strong. And if you are defending, well, you usually want to trade queens. Well, we'll get into those concepts later on. A queen in the center, you can imagine how strong it is. These are all the possibilities of a queen in the center. Very strong, right? Very, really strong. It's worth 9, and I think I'm missing here this. So I'm not even gonna count all the possibilities, but you can see she moves. If she's in a white square, she will move in the white diagonals, and in the file, the whole file, and the whole rank. And now let's go to the king. This is the start position of the king. The king doesn't have a value, like some people say like 3.5, but the king move also everywhere but just one square. So see, that's the movement of the king. If he's in the center, these are his possibilities. So the king is the most important piece in the sense that you need to protect him. You need to let the other pieces do the work and do the attack. And in the ending, which is one of the phases of the game, which I'll cover probably in next class, the king will become a really important part because most of the pieces will be traded off, and it's safe for him to come out. So that's his movement. Let's see now a special move of the king, which is called the castle. So I told you that he moves just one square, but the king has a special move that's called castling, like this. See, he moved like twice to the right, and then the rook came over to his side. He can also do it to the other side. 2 to the left, and the rooks will come over. That's called long castling. Long castling and short castling. We'll see that in a game that I will show you, so you can see how pieces moves. And that's short castling. The idea is that you want to have the king over here, which is protected by these 3 pawns and the rook, and it's safe. You don't want to leave your king in the center. You don't want to, because your opponent will attack you and you'll probably lose the game. We'll go that into detail later on. So you want to move your minor pieces out of the way as quickly as possible, probably pointing toward the middle of the board, and just castle. After your king is saved, then you go and make your plan, how you're gonna play and everything. I'll teach you that. So that's a special move. And let's go again to the starting position. Now that you know how the pieces move and some special move also. Okay, now that you know how the pieces move, let's go straight right away to a game. So you can see the pieces in action, how they capture, how they move, I'm not gonna go into too much detail about the strategy yet. I just want you to see this game and familiarize how they move in the board. This game was played a long time ago, the 19th century. Um, that doesn't matter anyway. Let's just see the game. So like I told you, white always has the first move. He playing this game d4, d5. See, we have already what we talk about, the strong point. They cannot eat each other yet, but they block each other and they control or accept some pressure in those squares. Then white play knight f3. See the jump that we talk about? He jump over this pawn, this knight over here, and to the center, all the way to the center. Now he's looking at those square, he's defending his pawn. And black play the same move. Jump it over a pawn, into the center and defending his pawn. e3, white play e3, opening the diagonal for his light square bishop. He closed the diagonal, if you can see, of his dark square bishop, but that doesn't matter because eventually it will get open. He just wants to open his dark square bishop, get it out of the way so he can do the move that I taught you with the king, the castling. So the king gets over here behind his pawn and his knight, and he's safe. He's safe there. And then we'll worry about the strategy and how we are gonna attack the opponent king. Black played the same thing, opening his dark square bishop, trying to get it out of the way as soon as possible, and castling to castle. Okay, bishop d3. Now he moved the bishop to d3. Now the king is ready to do the special move. Black played c5. c5, putting some pressure on the strong point. Black defended his strong point. Black played knight c6. Again, he's applying more pressure to the strong point. He has two pieces attacking it now, the pawn and the knight. White has 1, 2, 3 pieces defending the strong point. So white doesn't need to worry about it, because if black take this pawn, he will take this pawn and we're gonna be even, and we're gonna have our strong point defended. So no need to worry about that yet. He got 3 defending, he has 2 attacking. So we will develop another piece to the center. You have already 3 pieces developed. Black has 2 minor pieces developed. Now he moved bishop e7. And here's a special move, castling. Now the white king is safe. He's behind these 3 pawns. This knight is defending also. We are safe. Now we are gonna try to attack the opponent king. If he doesn't castle, he's still in the center. We're gonna try to open the center and get the pieces over there. He plays c4. Now he's attacking our bishop. We need to do something about it, right? Because a pawn is worth 1 and a bishop is worth 3. So we don't want to do that trade. That's not good. There's no compensation either, so we need to do something about that bishop. So we simply move bishop to c2. We could have moved also bishop to this square right here, but it's not good because it's clogging the center, right? And we in this diagonal, this bishop is looking to the h7 point. Black king eventually will have to castle, and we want to keep looking to that point to attack it, because that's gonna be a weak point. So if we move the bishop to e2, we're gonna get out of that diagonal. So we simply play bishop c2. b5. So black played. Looks like he doesn't want to castle, so we'll have to break in the center, because that king's still in the center. e4. e4. And now black took our pawn. See how they capture the pawns? Knight takes pawn. And finally he castle. You will say at first that the black king is safe, but he only has one piece defending his king, while we have a couple of pieces looking to the king side. We have these two bishops looking over there. We have this knight looking over there, and this knight also gonna look over there. So we have some pieces looking over there. Well, we'll develop first. Queen e2, bishop e7. See how we control the center. See this square, e5 square, this is our square. We have two pieces looking to this square. He only has one defending, so that's our square. We have two pieces, three pieces looking at this square. He doesn't have anyone defending that square. So we can say that although he has some pieces also looking at the center, we control more squares, which means that eventually our pieces will get to those squares and have more power. Let's say that was too fast. Knight g5, knight f g5. See, both of these knights can go to this square. That's why we say we have to specify which of those two knights went to this square. So it was the knight on f, this one over here, that went to g5. So we need to write it. See, knight f g5. h6. So now you can see a difference in the pawns in front of the king. See the three pawns in front of the king? It is said that as long as you can wait to don't move them, it's better, because they don't if you move them like he did right here, this square and this square will get weak, these two squares. But he was feeling the pressure, too many pieces looking over there, and he had to do something, because we had some threats over here. Like I told you, we have this knight looking here, we have this bishop looking here. Those two pieces kinda looking there, and only a knight defending. So our threat here was to just close this Telegram. Oh my god. Okay. Our threat here was to get rid of this knight, right? And win this pawn. So he didn't want to lose the pawn. He moved it, but he created a weakness. Now we get rid of it. Knight takes f6, check. See, we're touching the black king now. Bishop takes knight. Now he's attacking our knight with 2 pieces. We need to do something about it, but in this position we don't have to move the knight right away because we have another move. This move. Remember where I told you about the pieces in the center, how strong they were? Well, this is what's called an intermediate move. It's an intermediate because black had a threat of taking our knight, and we didn't do anything about it. We play another piece. We play queen f4 because we are threatening checkmate. See? Because he cannot take our queen because our queen is defended by our bishop. We have what's called a battery towards this square. So if he takes our knight now, we mate him. See? Checkmate. So he cannot do that. That's why this move is called an intermediate move. Another term will be a switch and shoot, as they used to call it like that. I don't know if they use that term anymore. But queen f5, threatening mate. It's we need the initiative always. We need that to be ahead in tempo. Those are concepts that I will teach you. So queen e4, centralizing the queen and just creating havoc in black position. This is really, really good move. So he didn't fall for it. He played g6, blocking. See, now he's blocking the diagonal. But we have a nice shot now. Knight takes e6. We're taking a pawn with a knight. I told you that knights are worth 3 and a pawn is worth 1. But we have compensation here. A temporal compensation means that we are breaking his defenses. He created too many weaknesses, and it's time to sacrifice some material to just break his castle. Took the knight. Queen takes g6. See how we destroyed his position, his pawns that were defending the king. Look at our pawns and how safe our king is. And his king is all exposed with all his pawns in front of him, defending him. It's really bad for him. Bishop g7, he covered the check. Queen h7 check. King f7. Bishop g6 check. He needs to move. This is what's called a contact check. See, because the piece that is given the check is touching the opponent king. It's a contact check. You cannot put a piece in the middle to block the check. That's pretty much what I mean a contact check. You need to either trade the piece or take away the piece that is giving you the contact check, or move the king. Here he cannot take our bishop that is given the contact check, so he needs to move his king. Bishop h5, Queen e7. Now we took the final pawn of his castle position. See, he doesn't have any pawns anymore. They are all gone. We ate them. His king is in the center. we have 3 pieces attacking him, and it's about to be done soon. Rook G8, defending the bishop. We were attacking it with 2 pieces. H4, creating the native mat. Bishop takes, and Queen F7, checkmate, because he cannot move his king. It's control. These 2 pawns are controlling the squares. The queen is controlling this and this, and he cannot take our queen because he's defended by our bishop. So that's what a checkmate looks like. See what I told you, that when we are attacking, how powerful the queen is, and usually we want to attack with the queen. And we saw a couple of concepts here in this game. So, but we're gonna go in depth in later classes. I just wanted to show you how the pieces move in a real game. So that's been our first lesson. I hope you enjoy it, and thanks for listening. I hope you learn a lot.